This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wally.
Get them, team.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and folks, you know what day it is. It's Friday. It's one of our favorite days of the week as we have Pharmacist Friday with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs here on Daily with Doc. This program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, but we are a resource for an amazing community. So we want to make sure that if somebody referred you to this program, that you get back with them. They are your person. They are the one that cared enough about you to share this program with you. So make sure that you return that favor and say thank you. They are also going to be your first point of contact if you have any questions about anything that you hear about on our programming. And if they don't know the answer, they probably know somebody they can connect with in order to get the answer. Now, if you were not referred by somebody specific and you'd like to speak with a certified holistic health coach, you are more than welcome to do so. If you're not already working with somebody, not referred to this program by somebody specific, and you've not tried the products that are mentioned on this program. Our certified holistic health coach crew here for the Daily with Doc team, it can be reached at 855-949-3377. Now, this program is for educational purposes only, and the man of the hour just loves it when I go through this, but it is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor is it meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But folks, there's so much that you can do all on your own without the need of somebody giving you a chemical to mask the symptoms. And that's what we're all about. So today our topic is pretty cool, actually, because some of you may be intimidated by this topic: how to speak to your doctor sensibly about nutrition. Now, I know that we have lots of doctors that are joining in and being part of. Wait. Somebody take care of that, please. Thank you so much. Being part of our team and joining our ranks in truly helping people, not just with symptoms, but root causes. Now, the man of the hour, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, is not only a registered pharmacist, but also a brilliant formulator and nutritionist. He is also an international speaker, and we're super excited that he has agreed to be on with us on almost every Friday. He has spent decades educating the public on the powerful intersection between pharmacy and nutrition, helping us to understand how our health challenges can be better addressed through food, supplementation, and lifestyle, folks. And as I said, for many of us, it can be intimidating to bring up natural health and nutrition with physicians. Yet having these conversations is essential in building a healthcare partnership that works for you. Well, Pharmacist Ben will help us break down how to approach our doctors respectfully, because we always want to do that, and how to ask the right questions, and how to confidently advocate for your own health. So, folks, take notes, listen up, as we have an amazing program for you today. As I welcome to the screen Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Hello, Pharmacist Ben. How are you this beautiful Friday?
I'm great, thank you. And I didn't know that was going to be the topic. That's an interesting surprise for me.
I messaged you.
Oh, did you today?
I did.
Like what, 10
I
minutes ago
did.
or something? Oh, okay, gotcha. I didn't
No,
check.
about 30.
Okay, 30 minutes ago. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call. Did you ever hear the phrase begging the question?
I've heard the phrase,
It's
yes.
misused often. Begging the question is misused all the time. So people who have heard the phrase maybe are under the impression that the misuse is the accurate term, but it's not. So sometimes you hear people say begging the question when they mean you should be asking this question. Like this is happening, which begs the question, what's going on here? That's not what begging the question means. That's a misuse of the term. The term begging the question is when the implications of your question are wrong, but if the person answers the question, he's confronted with making the implications of your question correct. You can't answer it without making you correct. So the famous one, without being, I don't even mean to anybody, but there's a famous one like, when did you stop beating your wife? That's a famous
Your wife?
example. Yeah, it's a famous example. I know it's gross, but that's just a famous example because if you answer them, it implies that you've been beating your wife. If you answer them, I stopped yesterday. I never beat my wife. It forces you puts you in a bad position. And that's exactly what you just did with your question. You don't talk to your doctor about nutrition. What the heck? That's like talking to your carpenter about your car. If you have a carpenter and he's fixing your furniture, you don't expect him to treat your car and tell him about your engine and ask him about what kind of oil you should use. He's a carpenter. He doesn't know anything about your car. He's a great carpenter. This is the problem. We equate, everybody in this call, probably likely, or at least a lot of people in this call, and certainly the public, the general public, equate doctor with knows everything about health. I'm not knocking on doctors. Do we have doctors on this call? You said we did.
We do.
I love that.
Yes,
I
we do.
love that because as I've said many times, I hate that I have to talk about the medical model with the choir and not with the physicians. So who are the physicians? Are there MDs on the call?
I did see that we have a doctor. Where'd he go? He was on the whole time before
Okay,
the
all right.
show.
Well, in any case, listen, I don't like that I have to preach to the choir because I feel like I'm talking behind people's back and I don't like doing that. I like being direct. That's my style, but that's just the way it is. It's hard to get physicians to cooperate, especially physicians who disagree. Because if they disagree, they're like, oh, I don't want to go on that call with that idiot Ben, that quack pharmacist Ben, which I've been called. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I don't want to do, which is talk behind people's back. Doctors are not bad people. They're not dumb people. But we're asking them to do something that they don't have a skill in. And why should we expect them to, other than the fact that we equate doctors with know everything about health? Doctors do not know everything about health, nor should they have to. If you get a broken leg and you need it repaired, it doesn't matter if your doctor knows about metabolic syndrome. It doesn't matter if your doctor knows about leaky gut. It doesn't matter if your doctor doesn't understand the link between the digestive system and the immune system. He doesn't have to. He's repairing your leg. And praise God, he can do that really well. When you have a broken leg, you want that leg repaired. When you have a trauma, God forbid, something happens, that's what doctors are for. But we've given them this role that's not theirs, and they've taken it. Nature abhors a vacuum, and whenever you give somebody power, when you abdicate your power, there's going to be somebody who takes it over. It's not their job to understand nutrition. Get it out of our heads. That's on us. That's on us, and that's the whole point of this message. This is the health challenges we address here, most of them, are lifestyle, not medical. If you go to the doctor when you have a lifestyle problem, you've drank the Kool-Aid. And when he does something incorrect or makes the problem worse or doesn't fix you, don't blame him. That's not his job. You're asking him to do something that he's not skilled in. Now, are there doctors who understand nutrition? Yes, there are plenty. Are there doctors who understand biochemistry? Yes, there's plenty. But that's gravy. That's a cherry on top. That's not what doctoring's about. So we have to get this idea out of our head. that our doctors should know nutrition. Oh, doctors only study one semester of nutrition. They don't need to. That's not their job. That's our job. That's your naturopath's job. Perhaps your chiropractor's job. The alternative practitioner, the doctor, the medical model does not work with nutrition. That's not in their skill set. Now, in fairness, because nutrition is so powerful, they have taken over and they're now starting to study nutrition, but they're still not taking a deep dive in it. They're still not understanding that it's about nutrition, not medicine, and they still work with the pharmacomedical strategies of drugging you and cutting you open and removing your organs. If you go to a doctor when you have a headache or a problem with your skin or a problem with your menstrual cycle and they take out your uterus and womb, that's on you. That's not on the doctor. If you go, I know I told a story before and I'll tell it again in case we have different people on the call. If the scorpion and a frog are walking down the street, there's a river. The scorpion can, the frog can swim, the scorpion can't. So the scorpion says, hey, let me on your back and we'll go across the river. So the frog says, no, I'm not going to let you on my back. You're a scorpion, you're going to bite me. And the scorpion says, I'm not going to bite you, you silly frog. If I bite you, you're going to drown and then I'm going to drown. That would be the stupidest thing I could do. Why would I ever bite you? And so the frog thinks about it for a second and he goes, all right, he's a dumb amphibian. He's not a rocket scientist. He's just a frog, brain this big. He says, all right, jump on my back. And they go in the middle of the river, boom, in the middle of the river, the scorpion bites the frog. And the frog looks up and says, you stupid scorpion, what did you do? You bit me. You promised me you wouldn't. Now I'm going to drown and you're going to drown. We're both going to die. What were you thinking, you stupid scorpion? And the scorpion goes, I'm a scorpion. That's what I do. And that's how it is. I'm a doctor. I give drugs. What do you do? What do you come to me for? That's what I do. I'm a doctor. I cut out your uterus or your thyroid or your gallbladder, whatever. That's what I do. So I really wanted this to hit home. We have to start taking responsibility for our health around what is the most important health challenges that human beings deal with, which is lifestyle-based chronic degenerative disease. Now, if it's an infection or it's a trauma, I have a friend of mine, she's actually a longevity person, and she heard me and she's herself, and she's a healthcare professional too. She's ripped on the medical model and she heard me ripping on it, and she had a perforated colon. Serious problem. And she says to me, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, I feel really bad. I said, go. Let them do what they do. This is what they do. This is their expertise. Nobody rips on the medical model more than me, but if I had a perforated colon, I'm heading to the ER. So we got to understand what we're talking about here, what their role is and what their role isn't, what they can do and what they can't do, what they can do great and what they can't do at all. We have to start taking responsibility for our health. And the good news is, as we talk about everything every day on this program, it's simple, not easy. Simple. Distinguish simple from easy. There's a couple of things you got to do. Not easy necessarily, but it's simple. You don't need a degree. You don't need to go to medical school. You don't need to study for 8 years. It's so simple because it's all about plumbing, and the body is designed to heal. Between the fact that it's all about plumbing and the body is designed to heal, all you got to do is make a couple of moves, 2 or 3 moves, and pretty much every single chronic degenerative disease can begin to resolve itself. Now, I don't want anybody ever believing me. Trust yet verify. Run it through your BS detector or your truth detector and see if it makes sense. And then experiment. Scientists always experiment, and you want to be a scientist about your health. You don't have to go to school to be a scientist. You don't have to have a degree to be a scientist. Being a scientist is just a philosophy. Science is just a philosophy, a process where you test. Science is about testing. And then seeing the results, and then tweaking the results, and then testing again. You make a hypothesis, you test, you get the results, you see how the results are, you go back to fine-tune your hypothesis, you test again, and on. I've done the work for you. So when I talk about what I'm going to talk about here in a second, it's unfalsifiable. Unfalsifiability means you can't find holes in it. Can't falsify it. What I've been talking about, it's unfalsifiable. So I've done the work for you. But if you want to, and which I encourage you to do, try it yourself. So number one, we always reduce things to their simplest, most basic components. So you have chronic degenerative disease. There's thousands of them based on diagnoses. Thousands of different ways that your body can break down based on diagnoses. But we reduce them all to what they have in common. So what do they all have in common? Well, one way we reduce them to commonalities is what we used to call the triangle of disease. And I noticed this many years ago that everybody who has heart problems, cancer, autoimmunity, whatever, a chronic degenerative condition they all have these 3 points of bodily breakdown that precede the diagnosis. But we simplified it even further. We took off the top of the triangle. We just went to the 2 points because the top of the triangle really follows the 2 points. So to simplify even further, we just work on 2 points. What do these 2 points have in common? These 2 points, by the way, are, as AJ knows, thank you, AJ, for doing that incredible website, by the way, the digestive system and the metabolic system, or the blood sugar system. Every single chronic degenerative disease, everyone, not 99.999%, 100% of them. There's a doctor on this call, you can affirm this, or if you disagree, get on and we'll talk about it. The digestive system and the metabolic system, what do they have in common though? Because we can further reduce the digestive system and the metabolic system. The digestive system and the metabolic system interact with the body through what? Becca, how do the digestive system and the metabolic system, how do they interact with the cells? What's the connection?
Blood.
Well,
Blood. Digestive system, metabolic system, blood. And what is the mechanism that causes the biochemical disruption that leads to diabetes and thyroid problems and cancer and heart disease? What is the actual mechanism? There's only one. Inflammation. Inflammation. This is a textbook. You're not going to find it on Amazon. This is all about chronic inflammation, all the mechanisms of chronic inflammation. It's all inflammatory. A, all chronic degenerative disease involves the digestive system and the blood sugar system. B, the digestive system and blood sugar system link to the disease process, the tissues and the cells via the blood. C, the mechanism is inflammation. If you understand what I just said, you can understand every single chronic degenerative disease there is and how to reverse it. Now, when we talk about the blood sugar system and the digestive system, those are in the body, but how do they get interfered with? Now we talk about IV, you can stick things into the blood, and that's one way that the blood can become problematic. But how does the digestive system and the metabolic system work? So how does it work in a positive sense so that we can understand how it works in a negative sense? Where does the digestive system and the metabolic system, where does it become disturbed at the beginning? What's the source of the disturbance?
is it the food that touches our lips?
The food, the mouth, the food. Listen how simple this is. Food, digestion, metabolic system, blood, inflammation. Congratulations, you now have a medical degree. That's all you need to know. That's everything. Food, digestion, metabolic system, blood, inflammation. Doctors on the call, did I miss anything? If there's any MDs on the call, did I miss anything? That's it. So let's break this down. Inflammation, what is inflammation? Inflammation is a protective response. And hopefully everybody in this call understands that inflammation is your friend. It's your best friend, your best health friend is inflammation. And the problem isn't so much inflammation as it is inflammation and anti-inflammation. The proportion, the balance. You're inflaming all the time because we're being attacked all the time. Even eating lettuce creates an attack of sorts. As soon as something gets into the body, there's an attack. Anything. Even water, theoretically, because there's stuff in the water. So anything you put in your system is going to cause inflammation. We always have inflammation. We live in a world where we're always attacked. either from the inside through food or from the outside through mosquitoes and bugs and trauma. And, it's a jungle out there. So the body has a protective system. The inflammatory, anti-inflammatory system is our protective system. Praise God that we have it. Inflammation, under ordinary circumstances, inflammation initiates anti-inflammation. Inflammation is the protective response. Think of it like a beaver's dam, protecting something, protecting tissue, fibers and goo, basically. These fibers and goo surround the bad guys. And then that inflammatory biochemistry, they call it the inflammatory cascade, initiates anti-inflammation. And you heal. And that's what's supposed to happen. But because of chronic attack, we don't give the body a chance to get into the anti-inflammatory phase. We are chronically attacking the body through food. Well, how are we chronically attacking the body through food? Because we're not eating from our stomachs, we're eating from our brain. We're not eating from our digestive system, we're eating from our head. And we have created a corporate culture, economic system that depends on us eating from our head and encourages us to eat from our head so that it will become more economically viable, make more money. So there's all of this incentive to eat from our head and not from our belly. And you can test this out. Again, everything should be tested. First of all, if you want to test out this relationship between the digestive system and the blood sugar system and food and inflammation and blood and disease, fast for 2 days and watch what happens to your symptoms. If you want to test out the hypothesis, the theory that I just gave you that says that that we're eating from our brain, not from our stomach, don't eat today or don't eat for the rest of the day. And then when it comes time to eat at dinner, put a big plate of food on the table and then eat the food really slowly and watch how long it takes for you to be full. You'll be full in 2 bites or 3 bites. If you watch, pay close attention, you will notice that you're full way before you stop eating. Way before. Usually in a few bites. Your stomach is this big. Size of your fist. So number one, just fast. Test it fast. If you have chronic pain, fast. You'll notice your pain's resolves. If you have rashes, if you have movement disorders, Parkinson's disease, notice what happens when you fast. And notice how quickly it takes, how little it takes to be satisfied. And then you'll see how much you're eating from your brain, because your brain will say, let's keep eating. Or you'll be bored. Or you say, that's delicious, I got to eat that. Or you'll say, I don't want to waste the food. There's all these little kind of strategies that we have to keep eating, and we do. And all of this costs us. And I'm not Mr. Food Guy. I told you a million times, I'm not Mr. Food Guy. I'm just saying this is a point of power that we have. So all disease is inflammatory. Inflammation is an attack. The attack comes in for the vast majority of us through the intestine into the blood. How does it start off in the intestine to get into the blood? Through the mouth. Everything. Cancer, obviously the most horrible diagnosis a person can have. And if you go to the hospital, they'll tell you, make sure you eat. You don't want to waste away. You don't want to get your cow. Wrong. Go get a book called Fasting Cancer. Literally, fasting, that's the name of the book. It talks all about the benefits of fasting for cancer. Ketogenic diet, low calorie. By the way, the ketogenic diet is a low calorie diet. This is such a powerful technique for all of us. Now, once the intestine becomes damaged, which occurs for most of us at a very young age, for many of us, the intestine becomes damaged by the first year of life, particularly if you're not being breastfed, if the baby's not being breastfed. But even with breast milk, it can happen. You have this 1-2 punch of disease. The first punch is leaky gut, where literally, I don't want to get into leaky gut, we talked about it a million times, but basically the gut becomes permeable and stuff gets into the blood. And by the way, when I say stuff gets into the blood, I'm talking about yucky stuff that you usually see in the toilet. That's what's getting into the blood. If you've ever thrown up, that stuff that you see, that's coming from your intestine. That's what it looks like. And that's the stuff that gets into the blood. You think that's a problem? You think that could be a problem? You think the stuff that's in your stool gets into your bloodstream? You think that's a problem? And this happens chronically for some people. And keep in mind, the blood is not just some fluid, some red stuff. The blood is a very complex organ, tissue, structure that has to be kept just perfectly so, that with temperature and pH and fluidity and oxygen levels and particulate levels and temperature and viscosity and coagulation, everything is just balanced. Now you put vomit in there and fecal material in there. What do you think's going to happen? Of course you're going to get sick. Oh, I'm going to go to the doctor for that, and he's going to fix me. Really? What's he going to do? Oh, he's going to give me a pill. Oh my God, I can't believe he gave me that. Oh yeah, he's going to take care of it. Oh, I can't believe he took my organ out. What do you expect? So we got to stop blaming the doctor. We got to return back to our own, become our own health authorities, and it's simple to do, if not easy. And that's why we talk about food so much. That's why we talk about nutritional supplementation. I'm going to tell you, the second punch on the 1-2 punch is now you don't absorb your vitamins once you have intestinal inflammation. Now you don't absorb your minerals. Now you don't absorb your electrolytes. Likely you're not going to absorb your fats and your fatty vitamins. So can you see you got all that literal crap getting into your blood and you're starving. What do you think's going to happen? Oh, but I'm going to go to the doctor. He's going to take care of it. He'll say, "Oh, sure, come on in. I'll take care of it. No problem. I got a Mercedes and I got my kids in college, and of course, come on in. He'll take care of it." But it's not their job. So what do? A, food diary. First thing, anybody with a chronic degenerative disease does. You need data. This is a scientific process. Any scientific process, you need data. So you get data. You collect the data. That is, if you're a doctor or a nurse and you're in the hospital, you're charting. If you're a police, if you're a detective and there's a crime, you take notes. This is a crime. We're doing forensics here. This is all forensics. I talked to a pharmacist, actually, traditional pharmacist, and her husband, and the baby had this deep rash on his butt. Deep rash. Not surface, but deep. So I had to tell him the lymph is low. There's major lymph glands underneath there. Once the lymph becomes clogged, all kinds of stuff gets put into the skin. She's been going to a dermatologist. This is not a dermatology problem. She can't believe the dermatologist gave me antibiotics. It didn't help. Really? No kidding. Even healthcare professionals don't understand what I'm saying. If you understand what I'm saying here, you're smarter than many healthcare professionals. So first things first, always a food diary. Always. And it helps if you fast before you do your food diary. Because if you fast, then you notice things more clearly. And then you start eliminating foods. And don't go by lists. Don't go by diets. Don't go by what you think is good. Oh, but I'm gluten-free. It doesn't matter. If you're symptomatic, it doesn't matter. If you're symptomatic, assume something's getting into the blood and work from that point. That's your hypothesis. You work from that point. It doesn't matter if you're vegetarian. It doesn't matter if you're organic. It doesn't matter if you're just eating the Mediterranean diet or the ketogenic diet, whatever you are. If you're symptomatic, you can assume something's getting into the blood, and unless it's coming in through the skin, it's coming in through the intestine. So you do food diary, you start eliminating the problem foods. Then you start building the lining of the intestine. And simultaneous with building the lining of the intestine, you correct the environment of the intestine, the lumen. They call it the lumen. It's the inside of the intestine. You correct the intestinal lumen. And that involves bacteria, largely. Now, we have a great product, one of my favorite longevity products. I have a few, called I-26. Oops, I don't know if you can see it, but it's called I-26. There's different versions of it. This is the version I like. It's a powder. Anybody who has a chronic degenerative disease will benefit from this because if you understand the mechanism, you understand that there's bacteria that are involved. They call that dysbiosis, by the way. And the I-26 will correct dysbiosis. Once you correct the dysbiosis a little bit, then you can start using probiotics. You can probably use probiotics ahead of time, but if you have SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and you put bacteria in there, sometimes people have problems. if you don't have problems, then you're okay. But I recommend people do the I-26 first and then get on the nightly essence. One of the great things about longevity is the wonderful digestive support supplements, and they keep adding more. I don't even know all of them at this point because they keep adding more. Ultimate Microbiome, which is fiber. Dr. Arias's liver cleanse, which is kind of the liver and the gallbladder are not exactly the intestine, but there's related to the intestine. There's communication there. So Dr. Arias's liver cleanse, the ultimate enzymes, which is not going to work directly on the intestine, but work higher up. And by the way, the ultimate enzymes are a great blood cleanser too, and that's a whole other story. And then there's also the daily digest capsules that come in, or not packets, which come in 30 packets. And there you go. Thank you, AJ. So got great digestive supplements. Then you do liquid nutrition. Why liquid nutrition? Because liquid nutrition will bypass, at least partially bypass, intestinal inflammation. Remember, if the intestine is inflamed, it can't absorb its nutrients. It's much harder for it to absorb its nutrients. If you can liquefy those nutrients, they're easier to process. Not completely. You still got to get rid of the inflammation, but it's easier. So, Rockstar right here. I know there's different versions. I know there's the Rise and Restore, and I'm supposed to promote the Rise and Restore, and I know they got the tablets, and I'm supposed to talk about the tablet. This is the best right here. Put it in water, drink it all day long. Then you start, so that's your liquid nutrition. Bone broth also. Bone broth does double duty. Bone broth also, in addition to being protein, liquid protein, and liquid connective tissue, it also is very soothing for the intestine. And it also calms down inflammation. So bone broth is multifunctional. And vegetable juices. You got to be a little careful with vegetables because some people react to certain vegetables. But vegetables are mucilaginous, slimy. Slimy stuff is great for the intestine. Slimy stuff coats the intestine and supports immunity. So anything slimy, a bone broth is somewhat slimy. Vegetable juices, if you do them right, can be slimy. And also, one of the best slimy substances for the intestine, and for the blood for that matter, is fucoidan, fucoid Z. So fucoidan, and also collagen peptides, and collagen, and also TMR shake. These are all in the interest of strengthening the lining. Anything with vitamin A in it is also beneficial. One of the most egregious enemies of the intestine, by the way, is the famous processed fats, which are inflammatory for everything, but especially inflammatory for the body. And by the way, quick digression, the inflammatory system, which is inflammation and anti-inflammation, I'm calling it the inflammatory system, but it's two phases, runs on fat. Fats are the major players in the inflammatory system, which means you have to be very careful with the kind of fats you put into your body. One of the things we've done over the last 120 or 130 years in this country is we've destroyed our fats through processing and heating. So many of us are subsisting on fried and processed fats. And if not subsisting, at least indulging. And these are very inflammatory for the intestine as well as for the entire system. So making sure that not only you're watching what you're putting into the body, but also what you're, or I should say, putting the good stuff in, you also got to make sure you're keeping the bad stuff out. In addition to the things you're going to find on your food diary, you got to stay away from the processed fats and the heated fats. And that's why I say simple but not easy, because it's very difficult to wean yourself off of French fries and pizza and fried okra and hush puppies and, you know, all the things we like to eat that are fried fats. Not to mention, you know, there's fried fats in baked goods, or not fried fats, but processed fats in baked goods. So when you're eating baked goods, even from Whole Foods, even from a health food store, you're eating baked goods, you're going to have processed fats in there. One of the most evil sources of processed fats is in formula for babies. And I know there's some kids who can't breastfeed. I understand, or some moms who can't breastfeed. I understand that. But that's a problem because the replacements are loaded with these inflammatory fats. And because nobody talks about them, nobody knows about them, nobody cares about them, the companies have no incentive to not do it. By the way, Many things that we inject through our skin that our doctors tell us to, if you know what I'm talking about, contain inflammatory fats. In fact, that recent injection that all our brilliant medical people and government people said that we should all be injecting, or else we can't go to work or we can't fly on a plane, you know what I'm talking about, those contained inflammatory fats. And nobody even thought about that. Everybody's all focused on the other stuff, which is not great either. So you work on the digestive system. Then the second phase is the metabolic system, because in addition to toxicity that gets into the blood, we're also driving energy into cells. Now, first of all, and this is sugar. And by the way, fructose counts. Fruit sugar counts, although in fruits at least it's a little better, but fruit juice is a problem. And high fructose corn syrup, which is a replacement for sugar, is also a problem, particularly for the liver. So these sugars do, these high concentrations of sugars do a couple things. First of all, sugar is caustic. It burns hot. And in the blood, when the levels are high, you can burn your blood vessels. If you're burning your blood vessels, glycation they call it, by the way, they don't call it burning, they call it glycation. If you're burning your blood vessels, glycating your blood vessels, the inside lining of the blood vessels will start to get destroyed. They'll start to burn. The cells will break down, and then they will become inflamed. Remember, inflammation, anytime where you have damage, you have inflammation, because inflammation is protective. The inflammatory response in the blood vessels will disturb blood flow. Now, under these conditions of disturbed blood flow, the blood isn't going to make it to the tissues or in the organs and the cells. And the brain will see, oh my gosh, the spleen is not getting enough oxygen, the intestine's not getting enough oxygen, the heart's not getting enough oxygen. We got to turn up the pressure. And the brain will turn up the pressure in order to get more blood, which is not moving because, for a lot of reasons, but for one reason, because the sugar is inflaming the lining. So, of course, your doctor will say, oh, you have essential hypertension. We got to put you on a beta blocker. Completely oblivious to the fact that the body's turning up the pressure so so the tissues don't die, so they don't suffocate. Sugar itself will thicken the blood. So now the blood becomes thick from the blood vessels, and it becomes thick from the inflammatory factors that are coming in from the digestive system, and it becomes thick from the sugar. When the blood gets filtered through the kidneys, the kidney blood vessels are really tiny, and everything that I just talked about in the regular blood vessels becomes even more problematic in the tiny blood vessels in the kidney, and now you got kidney problems, which are epidemic, by the way. And they're always related to thick, sludgy, sticky blood. So you work on the blood sugar system. What's worse is the little structures inside of cells, that convert energy, that convert food energy into chemical energy, or food molecules into chemical energy, because they have so much energy coming in, they're burning out. Those little structures are called what? Mitochondria. And today, mitochondrial medicine and mitochondrial burnout is recognized as an important part of chronic disease and of healing, which is another reason why you fast and why you reduce your sugar and why you lower your calories. And by the way, one of the things diabetics notice all the time is they're really thirsty. Why do you think diabetics are really thirsty all the time? Because their blood is so thick and sludgy that their body is saying, dilute the blood quickly. You can mitigate a lot of the problems just by diluting your blood prophylactically or preventatively first thing in the morning and throughout the day. So what are we saying here? We're saying here, this is not difficult. It's not medical. It's not doctor. We can be our own health authority. We can do it ourselves. Reduce your calories. Get on the ketogenic diet. Give McDonald's the finger as you're passing by. Don't drive through, drive by. They're not your friends. And if you unwrap a Snickers bar and indulge in it, that's on you. There's no ever any need for a Snickers bar. And I'm just picking on Snickers bar because you can say M&Ms and you can say anything. There's no need for that stuff. And I'm not beating anybody up for their food. I'm just saying this is a point of leverage for us. And get on a nutritional supplement program. everybody. It is so important. And as you know, obviously we're all here because of longevity, but if you're complaining about longevity, this or that, get on something. You're not going to find any better than Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And for people who can't afford a lot of nutritional supplementation, or I don't know how you, to me, this is an important something you have to afford. Lose the cable TV and get on a nutritional supplement program. At the very least, get on the BTT. And don't blame the doctors, because you know what? I've worked in hospitals, and I've been in hospitals as a patient. I've been in ER and I've been in the operating room. The people that work in hospitals are saints. They're angels from God. Are there bad apples? Yes, there's some bad apples in there for sure. But the vast majority of them are beautiful, beautiful people. And when I worked in hospitals, I noticed that people were coming, the same people would go back all the time. And you know why they went back all the time? Because of the love. The amount of love and compassion and empathy that you get when you're in the hospital or in the emergency room or when you're suffering is over the top. So you'll never hear me beating up on doctors, and nobody should beat up on doctors. It's the model, the paradigm, and it's on us. And that's, I know everybody's, I'm getting, so you guys want to say something or kick me off or something.
Well,
I didn't see you, AJ. I was just ignoring you.
So I knew that title would fire you up.
Oh, you did that on purpose? You did that.
Well, no, AJ did it, and I'm thinking in my mind, oh, this is going to get him fired.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So
I love my doctor
yes.
friends. They're beautiful people. I don't want to how you talk to your doctor about nutrition. It's not on them. They're beautiful people. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Do we want to take some questions?
Well, Pharmacist Ben, we have lots of questions.
Okay.
So AJ's first. He's been like going crazy.
I know.
Let's get to questions. Let's get to questions. Go
Okay,
ahead,
but
AJ.
yeah, but my question is not that important at this point, because I'll see you on Monday at 10 p.m.
Yes.
But the reason that the title is the title is because we really wanted to say, how do we talk to our doctor about getting off our medication?
Okay, so that's good. That's different.
But as opposed, we didn't want to get banned. So
okay, I got you. This is how you talk to your doctor about getting off your medication. First of all, people often, I'll hear this all the time, and this kind of bugs me. My doctor said I have to be on this. My doctor ordered this. My doctor made me take that. No, you decide, not him. Okay? You decide, not him. That's first of all. Second of all, if you're working with a doctor, you have a de facto contract. You haven't signed a contract literally, I know that. But you have an implied contract with him. You're going to listen to him. And when I'm counseling somebody, AJ and Becca, I'm sure you can relate to this. You don't want somebody else coming in and say, no, do this, do that. Aside from just making the patient go crazy and being confused, it's not fair to the person who's trying to heal them. So you never do something behind your doctor's back or ask other people to recommend other things when you're going to a doctor. You're going to a doctor, you've got a relationship with him, you have to cooperate with him. That doesn't mean you do everything he says, though. That doesn't mean you do everything he says. You ask questions. You should be asking, what does this medication do? What are the side effects? And you do your own, these days you don't even have to ask, you can do your own research. It's your right to wean yourself off of any med, and it should be your number one health goal if you're on a med. By med, I mean a chronic long-term med. Your number one health goal should be to figure out how to wean yourself off, and you do it with your doctor. And if he says, no, I want you on this, you find another doctor. There's no legal obligation that you have to do what he tells you to do if you feel strongly about it. So you say, no, doc, I don't want the med. I understand I'll be on it temporarily, but I want to wean myself off of it. But you can't just say, I'm not taking the med if you have been mucking up your biochemistry through lifestyle choices for 30 or 40 or 50 years. You can't just say, I'm not going to take the med, because the med may be keeping you in the game. And yes, there's a toxic side effect. And yes, you're going to deplete your body of precious nutrients. And yes, when you put a drug in the body does everything it do to get rid of it because it recognizes it as a poison and a toxin, but it may be keeping you in the game. It may be keeping you from getting a stroke. If you have blood clots, for example, blood thinners are a nasty, nasty drug. But if you have blood clots, you can't just say, I'm going to just not take the drug, because the blood thinner may be keeping you from having a heart attack or a stroke. It may be saving your life. but you want to start to do the lifestyle choices, make the lifestyle choices that will allow you to wean yourself off the med. And that's the goal. If you're on a prescription drug, a chronic drug for the rest of your life, your goal should be get off of that. But you don't just stop taking it if you haven't corrected all of the causes that led you to have to take it in the first place. So you talk to your doctor, and most doctors these days are understanding. They understand. If you find a doctor who's not, no, that's crazy. Who'd you hear that from? Dr. Google? From Pharmacist Ben? From those quacks? Find another doctor. It's your right to find another doctor. Find one who will work with you and who understands that you don't want to get better by taking poison, even though you may know that you have to in the short term. Does that answer your question?
Right.
Thank you.
I think that answers the question perfectly. So let's go over to the next question. And Phyllis is bringing in a question from somebody here that is live with us. So I'm going to ask her.
Find the MDs while we're on the call here. Find the MDs if they are on the call. I would love to have one pop up.
Ben, we've got a question from Tracy. She is here. I've asked her if she wants to come on.
Tracy from Australia?
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Tracy. Let's see your pretty
Hello.
face.
I'm actually currently in Canada right now, and I'm actually with my dad.
Okay.
My dad, so I figured he's having some issues, and there wasn't anybody I couldn't think that could really help us go through this. We've discovered he's had some mobility issues, and we noticed some tremors happening, and I knew intuitively something was not right. He had a heart attack in 2016, and since then, they have him on a aspirin, a heart pill, what do you call it?
What's the heart pill? Do you know?
The heart pill, I can tell you exactly. And then they have him on blood pressure tablets, and they have him on 2 cholesterol lowering tablets, a sleeping pill. And then I discovered that they got him on this pill called olazampine, which is like an antidepressant, depression one, which the side effect is exactly all these sort of things. So you can imagine
now you see, Tracy, this is the craziness of it. So in
my
Canada,
dad is very open. He's actually sitting here with me right now.
Okay,
so
good. All right,
yeah.
good. So let me just say a couple things. First of all, I love my friends in Canada. When I was a kid, I wanted to move to Canada. I went and visited Australia and New Zealand about 10 years ago. I wanted to move there. They're so beautiful, beautiful people, beautiful country. What's happening with your medical and health system is so twisted and so evil because it's free. And so anybody who thinks free medicine is somehow going to be our savior for healthcare, just look at New Zealand and Canada and Australia. Once you give the medical paradigm, the pharmacomedical paradigm, the imprintor, the authority of the government, you're off to the races, the disease races. And it's horrible. It's bad here in this country, but it's terrible in Canada. No human being should ever be on multiple drugs. If you have to take one, maybe 2, that's one thing. But to have somebody who's on 5 different drugs or 6 different drugs, especially an elderly person, and by the way, 60% of Americans over the age of 65 are on 5 or more prescription drugs. That's called polypharmacy. It's idiotic. Okay? Now, I'm not blaming the doctor here. I'm not blaming the doctor. This is the model. So who the heck knows what's going on in terms of this? Hi, Tracy. Who the heck knows what's going on in terms of your dad's biochemistry? Once you're on all these multiple drugs, it's a cocktail. Nobody knows. In pharmacy school, when something happened like that we didn't understand, we go to the blackboard, or the professor would go to the blackboard, he wrote OGK. Only God knows. And that's the only person, that's the only entity being that will know what that cocktail is doing in your poor dad's body. Now, I'm guessing I'm seeing your dad over here, so I'm guessing.
That's correct. That's correct.
What's his name? What's your dad's name?
His name is Wayne.
Hi, Wayne. So I'm guessing you're in your 70s, Wayne, correct?
Yeah, 71.
Okay. You had your heart attack when you were 61, 10 years ago, you said?
Yep.
All right. So something had been going on for a very long, 61, believe it or not, is young. So when you have a heart attack at 61, that tells me something's been going on for a long time that's not been corrected. And because you don't know what that is, likely it's still happening.
Well, the good news I can tell you, the good news I can share is he was smoking and he was taking patches, and a lot of things accumulate. He's since quit smoking. He's quit drinking. He's
all good. All good.
He's all done, but they still have him on all these meds, and that's why.
Well, like I was just saying, I said 2 things. First of all, your number 1 goal is to get off the meds, but I don't know what your situation is that the meds are keeping you in the game. There are some meds in there that are not keeping you in the game. They are gratuitous. egregious. They're just throwing them in. Now, the antidepressant, you don't look thrilled to be around here. The antidepressant doesn't seem like it's working that great, Wayne. So what's the point of that? Right away, you have to understand the cost benefit ratio, cost benefit relationship. So if it's not helping you, but it has a cost, what's the point? Right now, really probably, Tracy and Wayne, you could verify this. You're probably taking because the doctor said to take it, and who am I to question the doctor? The doctor said take it, I take it, right? And that's how most people do it. No knock on anybody. That's just what we do. So right away, you can probably reduce a big load on the body by getting off that antidepressant. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. Like I said earlier, you have a relationship with the doctor, and I can't stick my nose in that relationship. You have to do that. But that's what I would do. I'd say, Doc, I don't really need this antidepressant, not helping me anyway. And now I just got more work for my liver to do. And my liver's already overloaded. So that's one thing. Cholesterol drugs, what's the point of that? You're on 2 different cholesterol drugs. So now I got more stuff for my liver. What's the cholesterol drug going to do? So your body produces cholesterol in high concentrations, largely because of sugar. There's other reasons too, but mostly because of sugar. So the best way to lower your cholesterol is to lower your blood sugar and insulin, and that's all diet. That's the best one. We'll do it maybe next week. We can talk about cholesterol. I know we've done it before, but that's
good.
very,
That's good,
very
Ben,
important
because
topic.
I
Yes.
got him to watch
The
it. I got him
most
to watch
important,
your
Tracy,
cholesterol.
take this back to Australia, New Zealand. The most important reason why cholesterol goes up is because blood sugar goes up. Elevated insulin and elevated blood sugar are the most important cause of elevated cholesterol. There's some other reasons too, and that involves steroid hormones and stress and repair, but cholesterol is not the enemy. It's a meme. It's a mental shortcut. Oh, the cholesterol's high, so it's blocking the vessels and your heart's working harder. Nonsense. Cholesterol is a vital molecule. Vital, vital, vital. And by the way, cholesterol suppression can lead to brain problems like depression. So that's the second thing I would be asking the doctor why he absolutely needs to be on that as well. And then what were the other ones? You said two blood pressure medicines?
Yeah, so, well, no, a blood pressure medicine for kidney function.
Okay. And then the heart medicine.
And then the heart one. And the heart one, you asked what it was called. It's called bisoprolol fumate. Fumartin.
Spell it instead of trying to say it.
Okay,
Yeah.
BISOPROLOL.
Okay,
And then,
gotcha. That's OLOL. Whenever you hear a drug that ends OLOL,
yeah,
that's called a beta blocker.
that's what I thought.
All OLOLs are beta blockers.
Yeah.
Metoprolol, propranolol, such as that. Whenever you hear OLOL, you're talking about a beta blocker. Beta blockers, like the name implies, block the nervous system, the beta nervous system. Who in their right mind would think blocking your nervous system is a good idea? It's the silliest thing. Your heart is obviously in a position where it's really working hard and they're trying to calm it down, but they're calming it down by poisoning it. So what your dad's life can change today if he does just a few things. Now, I'm not telling you to get off the drugs because you got to get off. You're going to have to do it gradually. And you want to work with your doctor. Number one, the most important thing he can do at this point is he's starving and malnourished. And on top of being starving and malnourished, he's piling on work for his body to do. So not only he's putting more burdens on his body as he's starving. You see a problem here. Get him on the BTT today. Right now, while I'm on the calls, you can't do it soon enough. The BTT doesn't have enough of everything. It has pretty much as broad spectrum as you're going to find in a supplement. You still need more, but this is a start. And because it's liquid, it'll go right to work. Small doses and build up on the doses. I don't know who put the 2 scoops in a glass of water thing here. That's crazy to me. Small doses build up. And for everybody out there who's starting a BTT program or starting a client on BTT, if the digestive system is not prepared, you're going to have, and you do the dose that says on the label, you're going to have a very unhappy customer. Okay? And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Explosive diarrhea, and cramping and bloating and discomfort, because if your digestive system is not prepared and you try to pound the nutrients in here, you're going to overload the system. So you want to do small doses and build up to them and find a place where he likes the taste. As soon as you get off the call, Tracy, put a teaspoon of water, drink it. And watch your dad while he's drinking it. I'm telling you, it'll be like a plant that hasn't been watered. You ever see a plant hasn't been watered? You go on vacation, you forget to water it, and then you water it, and you can like see it all of a sudden within like a minute or two. It's like starting. That's going to be your dad.
Mhm.
Okay? And by the way, everybody out there for Christmas, if you know anybody who's ill or elderly or in a nursing home recovering from surgery, best Christmas gift ever. So get them on the BTT. That's first of all. You need much more than that. I suspect that this whole thing was initiated by digestive issues, which it usually is. So you haven't mentioned anything about digestive issues, but when I hear that somebody has this kind of breakdown at this young age, there's probably been some long-standing digestive issues. And he probably hasn't corrected them because he doesn't know. So God bless you for being there, because you can do it. And just work with him with specific foods and the connection between the foods and the intestine, because that's where it all begins. If he's a sugar eater, if he likes the bread and the pasta and the potatoes and the sweets and the fruit juice and all those kinds of things, as best as you can wean him off, and lots of BTT after or with those kinds of foods. And I would get him on the whole Healthy Brain Heart Pack, of course, if you can do that. That would be awesome if you can do that. And then low calorie. The less food he eats, the better off he's going to be, because that means less work for his body to do. The more work your body does digesting food, the less energy it has for healing. So it's basically, do I want to digest my food or do I want to heal and grow and repair? Obviously, we know the answer. So we wean him off the calories, and the more nutrients he does, the less hungry he'll be. So that'll be easier. You can do all of that today or tomorrow or in the very near future, and you can change his life so quickly it's going to blow you away. Now there's way more.
Yeah.
And Wayne Dracy you're well equipped. You got an awesome daughter who understands the business, understands nutrition. You're in good hands, and I'm happy to help. But just do that, what I just said right there. Also, soups and juices. Remember, the intestine's inflamed. You got to assume his intestine's inflamed at this point. So liquid nutrition, in addition to the BTT fruits and juice, not fruits, but vegetable juices and soups, especially bone soup. TMR shake wouldn't hurt either. And smoothie, TMR shake was smooth. A smoothie with TMR shake. Crack an egg in there if you can do eggs. Okay.
Well, we've been doing it. We've been working on it. So this is really
Wayne,
good.
we can change. You can change his life today. Send me a note. Send me a note and tell me what happened.
I'll keep you posted, Ben. Thank you so much. And thank you,
How
Rebecca.
come you don't
for
have an
making this
Australian
happen.
accent, Tracy?
I'm Canadian. I'm
Oh, you're
Canadian. I've been in
Canadian.
Australia 25 years. My dad
Okay.
visits as often as he can. This is
Okay,
my
beautiful.
visit. I kind of made it more of a quick trip just to kind of assess what's going on, because he
Good for
has
you.
cleaned up his diet. We do have him on the products, but something was holding him back, which is all his meds.
All his meds, exactly. That's not only is it a burden on the body, all those meds, but now he's nutritionally deficient because the body's using the nutrients to detoxify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Very good.
Tracy. I hope I helped, and I'd love to hear back from you.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
All
Wayne.
right.
God bless you, my
Thank you,
friend.
Tracy.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Let's take one more call here.
Pharmacist Ben, we have one from Vlad on YouTube. He has a family member, a woman 79 years old, stage 5 liver problems. Can she come out of this? We don't know about other health issues.
Obviously, she's pretty progressed. She's probably on a lot of meds. I don't want to say never for anybody. There's always hope. Immediately, you got to reduce the load on the liver. The major loads on the liver are food, sugar, and drugs. So less calories, low calories, ketogenic diet. Actually, you've got to be a little careful with the ketogenic diet because of the fats, but she probably have a problem processing fats. I don't know if she has all her organs. There's a lot of things I need to know in order to really give you accurate advice. But the main principle is to reduce the load on the liver from food, from sugar, and from drugs, and immediately put nutrients into the system. Beyond Tang Tangerine for sure, but if he can get on the Healthy Start Pack, that would be great. There's way too many things I'd have to ask this person to be able to give him accurate advice, but basically you want to reduce the load on the liver. That's the strategy for all liver issues, and the major loads are going to be calories, sugar, and toxins in general, drugs being the most important toxins. Hi, Mary. Mary, going to ask a question?
Hi.
Hi, have I met you before? CWHC. certified wellness health coach.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, and I love your place on the beach. It's gorgeous.
This is where I want to be for sure.
I love it. That's beautiful. Yes, I want to be there too. What's going on, Mary?
Yes, I actually I'm kind of subbing in, and I do have a question from YouTube.
You're subbing for who? For Ruth Ellen?
I'm subbing for anyone that is not here.
Okay, fair enough. Nice to see you.
Yes, good to see you as well. My question is from Hunter 2847. He says, I believe, says, does interception require?
Interoception.
That could be. He spells it INTUSSUSCEPTION.
I'm trying to know what that is. Interception. I don't know.
Yeah, requires surgery or not.
I don't know what that is. I can't
Define it, Mary.
Yes, hold on. The definition here is it's a medical condition where part of the intestine slides into an adjacent part of the intestine.
Yeah.
Similar to how sections of a telescope slide into each other. And
This
it
is
can
a
cause
rule of thumb
blockage.
here. Okay, I got you. Interception.
Yeah.
Intussusception. Intussusception. Yes.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb. Don't mess with your intestine. Ever. If it's a mechanical issue like that, have it fixed. There's no nutritional strategy for that.
Mhm.
Have it fixed. Do not mess with your digestive system. Like I said earlier, and I don't mean to be graphic, but I want everybody to really feel this and hear this and understand this. That's where your crap is. You guys get that? You want that out the body. Anything that's messing around there, you don't want that anywhere near your body. If the intestine, if anything happens to the intestine, a perforation or a growth or a polyp or anything, could be serious danger. So no, I would not. I would have that mechanically or whatever they need to do to get that taken care of. And strangulations and all kinds of weird intestinal things can happen, and they can be fatal. And I wouldn't mess around with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Pharmacist Ben, do you have time for one more?
One more quickie.
Okay, so Denise wants to know what's the best way to get rid of heavy metals and aluminum in the body.
Okay, well, I want to talk about heavy metals next time too. By the way, that's a good topic. And then
Okay.
is this Denise Lantner? I think.
Yes.
Hi, Denise. Can you come on? I want to see Denise. I invited her on.
Let me go ahead and get her.
Denise
up
has been
here.
great. She actually jumped through a lot of hoops to get here. So let's give her a hand. You there, Denise?
Hi.
Hi, Denise.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't see my picture. Hi, Ben.
I wanted to see you. Come on.
Okay, go ahead and turn
see
your
you.
camera on, Denise.
Come on, Denise. Let's see what you look like. I want to see who I'm talking to.
I don't know how.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it for now. So
I don't know where it is. I tried
one of the
clicking on that
best-
one page.
One of the best
Okay.
detoxifying supplements for heavy metals is right here, Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And I forgot to mention, this is also great for the blood too, as a blood cleanser. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the minerals, the colloidal minerals and the ionic minerals in BTT are one of the best ways to detoxify heavy metals, to purify heavy metals. You can also use the Fucoid Z. You can also use the Fucoid Z. You can also use the CFX and the Ultimate Selenium and the MSM. Those are all chelating agents that will chelate heavy metals. But please recognize, and all the longevity distributors should know, that Beyond Tangy Tangerine and plant-derived minerals in general are wonderful heavy metal detoxifiers. So let's
So
talk.
you can take it throughout the day, right?
Way you do it. You know,
And,
BTT scratch the surface of the benefits of Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the minerals. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Denise.
Yeah, the water that you mix it with, a lot of the municipal systems don't take out all the heavy metals, do
You
they?
don't
In the
want
water that
you
you
never
mix?
want to. You don't ever want to drink municipal water. You don't even want to give your dog municipal water. You don't want municipal water. I don't know what municipality you're in, but it's nasty. You want bottled water, reverse osmosis water, distilled water. You want to be really careful with your water. You're absolutely correct. If you put municipal city water with your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine will actually help clean the municipal city water, but it's kind of counterproductive.
What do you use for your water?
I personally use I use reverse osmosis water or distilled water. That's the
In
only
a
time.
glass jar or bottle.
I actually have it in a plastic bottle, but that is a good point. You know, you gotta pick your battles here. You gotta do what you can do. So, but glass
So
would be better. Glass would definitely be better. You're right. Especially heated plastics can be a problem. But I do distill it in reverse osmosis, and I suggest everybody does. And distilled water, there's some people have misunderstandings about distilled water. It's clean. That's what matters. Clean, clean, clean. Okay. All right. I do have to
Now,
bolt.
can distilled water leach minerals?
I'm sorry. What? I didn't hear that.
Can distilled water leach minerals from your body?
Anybody who says that should be spanked and kicked out of your house. That's
Okay.
silliness.
All
right.
right. Thank you so much, Denise. And if
And
we could get
thank
the co-host
you,
up on the screen.
Denise, and thank you, Becca and AJ and Coach Rod and Phyllis and Marilyn and Albert and Dracy and all the longevity distributors. Thank you very much. And then we're back. If we didn't get you, we'll be back on Monday. Right, AJ?
We will be back on Monday.
AJ. And I'm going to go. I'm going to let you say your goodbyes. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pharmacist
Pharmacist Ben.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
Folks, if we did not get to your question, please email them into us, questions@dailywithdoc.com. On Monday, Pharmacist Ben and AJ will be going through those questions. And next Friday, we'll be talking about detoxing from heavy metals. Can you write that down for me, AJ, please? Folks, thank you so much for joining here with us on dailywithdoc.com. You know, this was a pretty fabulous explanation about how the body works, how we are responsible for it, because nutritionally, the doctors don't have the information that they need in order to help you nutritionally. They can save your life all day long with emergency practices and such, but you are an empowered individual. You can't let anybody take that away from you. And it's in your hands to create a better health journey. Folks, my name is Becca Dukes. I'm a certified naturopathic practitioner. I'm also a certified holistic health coach and the director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health. And I am honored to have the people who are on the screen with me, in addition to being able to host this program. Today, we have as our co-host team, we have Mary, who is joining us, bringing in questions. Thank you so much, Mary, and learning how to do the system. We also have Phyllis, who is also bringing in questions and helping to put information into the chat that is only available if you're here live with us in the Zoom, which if you'd like to join us live, make sure that you email us, zoom@dailywithdoc.com, as we are going to be changing the process on how you can get in, and we want to make sure those who want to be here for constructive reasons are still able to make it. Thank you so much, Phyllis. We also have Marilyn, who is Ms. Speedy Fingers, putting in the information, more information into the chat. So thank you so much, Marilyn. And Carol, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I just saw her comment. But thank you, Marilyn, for all that you do. And Albert, letting people in. Thank you, sir, joining us from South Africa in the middle of his night. Thank you, Albert, for still being here. And we have Rod joining us. He's also keeping an eye on the different platforms to bring questions in. And we did not get to everybody's question. He was hanging out with his hand up, waiting patiently. So again, folks, if you have questions and we did not get to them, or you have questions that you would like to hear answered, questions@dailywithdoc.com. And we have, last but not least, AJ, who is my digital marketing director, who is the reason why we posed a question that we knew would get him all riled up. Because, folks, face it, you put out there what you really want in the title, and you're going to get blocked. We don't want that to happen again on YouTube. But, folks, Just want to do a shout out to AJ, as he's the reason why we're on multiple different channels, so that if we do get locked out of one, we're still on at least 5 others. So thank you so much, AJ, and thank you everybody for investing this hour plus into your own health and wellness. Get back with the person that shared this program with you and tell them thank you. Ask them how you can get started on a better health journey, and that tangy tangerine absolutely is probably one of the best life promoting products that you can give anybody today, tomorrow, Christmas, Easter, birthdays. It does not matter. We need it every single day. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time on Daily with Doc and Becca, or Pharmacist Ben Bites and AJ, coming up on Monday. Talk to you later. Live at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Pharmacist Ben Bites. And if you're watching this and you're not live, sometimes the time changes. So you want to make sure that you go to dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our email list so that you can get notifications of the exact times and who's going to be on the program each and every time. We are on Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 1 Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, 3 to 4 Eastern, and 9 to 10 in South Africa at this time of year. Until next time, bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr. Joel